The world of horror has descended upon the blue star, and anyone over 18 years old has a chance to be pulled into a dangerous horror dungeon. Just after Su Ming celebrated his birthday, he was selected by a dungeon at the level of the Decepticon King. At a critical moment, Su Ming discovered that the Blue Star Edition All Professional Development game installed on his phone had become the Thrilling Edition All Professional Development Game System. Doctor, Chef, Swordsman, Storyteller, Captain, Detective. By spending corresponding cultivation points, you can activate Eerie professions and gain various powerful abilities. Ding! Activate the Spooky Doctor profession and obtain the skill of Spooky Doctor's Advice. 6 Spooky Sisters flowers should obey your advice. Cough. Miss Eyre, please put on your dress. When I see a doctor, I pay attention to observing, hearing, and questioning, and I won't act recklessly. Ding! Activate the Swordsmanship Master and obtain the Respecting Master as Father skill. The younger brother of the mysterious Empress must worship you as his adoptive father. Xiaoluoli, kneel down slowly. I won't accept my adopted son. Hey, why are you giving me the Imperial level artifact? Well, if the family doesn't talk to each other, I'll help you keep it for now. Ding! Activate the Chef and obtain the Oh, it's really fragrant skill. The Empress Chef eats the food you've made and can be coquettish holding your arm, just wanting to have another bowl. The dignified and eerie Empress, what do you look like? Pay attention to your appearance. What? Choose between Hess and Bays and reward me. What kind of person am I? Do you want to dress up for fun? Well, I'll make a few dishes for you again. While the players were still carefully surviving in the thrilling world, Su Ming had activated all the Eerie professions and lived a comfortable and happy life with the female Eerie. Chapter 1. King Level Dungeon. Refuse to cooperate with Our Lady. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Welcome to the world of horror. This is the replica of the strange and stupid Beauty King's mansion. The current number of people is 20. After selecting their respective identities for the main mission, they will survive in the Wong Mansion for 20 days. Hide tasks and explore on your own. Task rewards will be settled based on performance after completing the level. The game will start in 4 minutes, and you have 4 minutes of preparation time. Outside the mansion shrouded in blood mist, 20 players stood, and a cold reminder sound echoed in the minds of all players. Among this group of players, the majority are newcomers. Most people have a pale complexion and speak anxiously. Oh my goodness. King level dungeon. I'm dying. How could I have been selected by this dungeon? Old players face this dungeon to the death, how can we new players survive? The head of the family, Yan Jisha, has a notorious reputation in the world and is known as the Guiji Yan Wang. We are doomed. Do you have any big shots? Please take them with you. The mansion gate made of white bones. On both sides of the gate, there are pale human skin couplets, with exceptionally bright red blood characters. A row of head lanterns hung at the door, emitting a faint green light. Standing at the end of the queue, Su Ming withdrew his gaze and sighed in his heart. Sure enough, I was 100% pulled into the horror dungeon. The 18th birthday cake was eaten last night, and people walked away that night. The world of horror has descended on Blue Star for over 200 years, and people over 18 years old have a chance to be pulled into the dungeon of the world of horror. Successfully completing the level, receiving rewards, and being able to survive. Clearance failed, death. For others, it's called having a chance of being selected. For him, that's 100%. Su Ming had this realization precisely because he was not a native of Blue Star, but a person who had traveled through time. More than 10 years ago, Su Ming traveled to a dying baby. At first, Su Ming was particularly excited. As a traveler, he would inevitably come with a standard system to grow and strengthen, and then reach the pinnacle of his life. Then, he was disappointed. There is no system, nor is there an old grandpa guiding the maze. Until Su Ming had his first phone, his cheat finally arrived. That is a mysterious game. Blue Star Edition. Full-time development game. Su Ming only needs to complete game tasks to obtain cultivation points, activate various professions, and increase the level of professions to obtain a large amount of Dragon Country coins. Over the past decade, Su Ming has earned over 40 million Dragon coins through this game. Su Ming knew he had a special identity, so he had been preparing for it before the age of 18. He spent more than 30 million Dragon coins just to purchase information on various horror dungeons. There is still a lot of important information, and Su Ming spent Dragon Country coin, which he couldn't buy at all. Good news. The information about the dungeon that Su Ming once purchased includes the dungeon of the Gui Ji Yen Wang Fu. Bad news. The strange and stubborn king's mansion belongs to the terrifying dungeon of the king's division level, with an extremely low survival rate. Bad news. Regarding this replica, there is very little information leaked, only the most basic information, and there are deviations. Buyers need to carefully refer to it. Bad news. Su Ming's phone is missing, and he has to rely on himself to recall the replica information saved over the years. Surviving for 20 days, this message is correct. It usually takes 3 days, but this instance takes 20 days, and the situation is not optimistic. Su Ming frowned slightly and thought to himself. There are 13 identities to choose from in the copy of Prince Yan's mansion, namely the maid in the inner courtyard, the maid in the outer courtyard, the sweeper, the gatekeeper, and the groom. The inner courtyard is very dangerous, try not to choose the identity of entering the inner courtyard. The most important point is that Ji Sha Yen Wang has 2 daughters who suffer from stubborn illnesses. If the player has the skills and experience to heal monsters, they can proactively mention it to the butler. If the treatment is effective, there is a high chance of receiving hidden rewards and protection. But both daughters are in the inner courtyard, with risks and opportunities coexisting. In such a short while, Su Ming has already recalled the information of this instance. The information about the replica of Prince Yan's mansion was purchased 8 years ago, so Su Ming should have forgotten it long ago. Fortunately, Su Ming has a good habit of checking the information of terrifying dungeons at the Wang Shi level every once in a while. For minutes of preparation time, Su Ming intends to use it to repeatedly ponder over the information of the dungeon. In the case of insufficient strength, information is king. The new players not far away were still sighing, but Su Ming had deep eyes and constantly pondered which identity had the highest survival rate. As time passed by, Su Ming selected 2 identities with higher survival rates. The gatekeeper of the outer courtyard and the groom. Little brother, are we together? A beautiful woman in a dress walked up to Su Ming with several new players and asked gently. While pondering, Su Ming frowned slightly when disturbed by someone. He glanced at the woman and said calmly, I'm not interested, don't disturb me. Su Ming spent more than 30 million yuan to buy information materials, from which he summarized a lot of experience. One of the experiences. In thriller dungeons, trusting others recklessly is extremely dangerous behavior. The woman smiled gently, apologized, and then continued. This instance is too dangerous. We need to unite and share our information every day to increase our survival rate. If you join us, I can share the replica information with you now. Her voice is very gentle, like the big sister next door talking. Su Ming did not respond and chose to ignore the woman's invitation. Compared to cooperation, Su Ming believes more in himself. The identity of the inner courtyard is more dangerous, and the little brother can choose the identity of the outer courtyard later. To show sincerity, the woman in a dress said an important message. Upon hearing these words, Su Ming raised his eyebrows slightly and looked at the woman with some surprise. Finally facing her head on. The woman smiled slightly, showing a confident smile. She believed that the handsome and extraordinary young man in front of her would definitely accept her invitation. However, in the next moment, thank you for your intelligence, but I refuse to cooperate, Su Ming said calmly. He spent over 6 million yuan to buy the information of the Yan Wang Mansion dungeon, before learning about this particularly important piece of intelligence. This woman faced a stranger who was not related, but shared it for free. Is she doing charity in the thriller dungeon? Can this be a good person? Even if she is a good person, Su Ming is unwilling to team up with people who are suspected to be the Virgin Mary. The woman's breath froze, and a hint of inscrutable anger flashed in her eyes before quickly regaining a gentle smile. How can you be so ungrateful? You're not united at all, said the man in a suit next to the woman, feeling dissatisfied. Su Ming refused the invitation, and the other members of the team lost their previous friendliness, looking at Su Ming with displeasure. Wen Jie is a senior player. She's lucky to be able to lead us as a group of newcomers. Why don't you understand gratitude? The man in the suit started, and others also spoke out to criticize Su Ming. Su Ming remained indifferent and let out a sigh. Seeing Su Ming's plain attitude, this group of people immediately felt like they were hitting cotton. They thought that Su Ming would change his mind when he heard about advanced players. Advanced players can smash large trucks with their bare hands, which can be considered quite powerful in normal dungeons. However, players at this level are simply not enough to pass the Yan Wang Mansion dungeon. Advanced players also have to rely on their intelligence to win, as they are little karami. Since everyone is similar, Su Ming naturally doesn't want to team up with them. At this point, a beginner player judged from his breath that Su Ming was an ordinary newcomer. His yin-yang strange airway. I thought you were so powerful I realized you haven't even reached your junior level. Sister Wen is kind-hearted and won't argue with you. What kind of expert are you pretending to be here? You're just trying to take advantage of it. However, before the man could finish speaking, the gate of the mansion slowly opened, and a black figure suddenly rushed out, rushing towards the man's face door at an extremely fast speed. Su Ming didn't even see what was happening clearly. The man let out a scream of agony. Ah! My face! Immediately afterwards, a cold reminder sound echoed in the minds of all players. The preparation time is over, the dungeon is starting. Chapter 2. Full-time Development System. Activate the Cunning Doctor. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Outside the Yan Wang Mansion. A 2-meter-old red-eyed black dog, blocking in front of everyone, pounced on the talking man, smacked its mouth, and crazily nibbled on the flesh on the man's entire face. Ah ah! The man desperately broke free from the black dog and knelt aside, placing his hands on his bloody face, trying to block the gushing blood while making a pig-like scream. At this point, the man had lost his human form. Sen Sen's facial bones were exposed, making his eyeballs appear particularly large, and his chin was bitten off in half, looking extremely eerie. Su Ming distanced himself early to avoid splashing blood all over, while also being wary of the big black dog and the butler next to the gate. Hee, De Hei is a foodie and likes smelly things. He should have bad breath. He has been having a bad temper lately and can't control his emotions. Please bear with him. The butler lowered his head, hunched his waist, made a hoarse sound, and slowly walked out of the door. Upon hearing this sentence, the players' hearts pounded wildly and unconsciously closed their mouths. Afraid that the red-eyed black dog might smell bad breath, let's face it again. The butler is very small, only about 1.5 meters tall, with a constantly wriggling ball of flesh bulging from behind. When he stood still, he lifted his head and revealed a twisted face. This face looks like a pile of old tree bark mixed together. Eyes grow larger and smaller, emitting a dangerous and eerie green light. The butler scanned the crowd and made their hearts tighten. Everyone is quiet. I am the chief steward of the Wang Mansion, and you can call me General Manager Li. General Manager Li slowly said, let me first talk to you about the rules of the Wang Mansion. Everyone held their breath and listened nervously to Director Li's words. While listening, Su Ming was secretly wary of the nearby black dogs. He glanced at the bitten man and the black dog. The black dog did not continue to attack the player, it returned to the side of Manager Lee. The man's entire face was bitten off, causing his whole body to tremble violently, but he dared not let out a single cry of sorrow. Although the man is a beginner player with several times stronger physique than a sports student, he cannot survive for long in this state in the dungeon. Black Dog has been having a bad temper lately and may bite people at any time. Su Ming wrote down this message, feeling somewhat solemn. At this moment, ding. Detected that the horror dungeon has officially started, system activation. The sound of the system is extremely pleasant, only Su Ming can hear it. System. Su Ming's eyes lit up with joy in his heart. A must-have for travelers, cheating system, it's finally here. The sound of the system continues to sound. This system has automatically and permanently bound the host. This system has automatically transformed the Blue Star full-time development game into a thriller version of the full-time development game. The system interface has been generated. Host. Su Ming, appearance. 99, current appearance effect. When meeting for the first time, you can directly gain 10 points of liking for the female monster. Reminder. This is both an advantage and a risk. Because some women are weird and like to eat handsome guys raw. Physical fitness. 5, average mass of ordinary human body is 5, spirit. 9, the average mental state of ordinary people is 5, resilience. 6, average resilience for ordinary people is 5, speed. 3, average speed for ordinary people is 5. Su Ming listened to Director Lee's speech while calmly looking at the system interface in front of him. My physique is 5, and my combat skills are 5 scumbags. My spirit is 9, no wonder I have a good memory. It should be due to my soul piercing, Su Ming muttered to himself. The system interface continues to display. Host currently holds a mysterious position. None, scary version of the job. Doctor, chef, swordsman, storyteller, captain, detective, teacher, salesman. Spending cultivation points can activate Eerie professions and also be used to level up Eerie professions. Reminder. Activating different Eerie professions will give the host different Eerie powers. The human race can master up to 4 Eerie powers. With this system, the host can infinitely master Eerie powers. Deception level. Beginner, beginner, slightly understood, minor, major, transformation realm, master, supreme realm, introduction. Slightly understood, only with the accompanying deception effect, no deception skill. Xiaocheng. Supreme realm, these 5 levels, each level can obtain a cunning skill. Reminder. Deceptive skills contain powerful deceptive power. Cultivation point. 0 ways to obtain cultivation points. Liking points, proficiency points, admiration points, respect points, etc., converted 1. To 0.1 into cultivation points. The initial reward is 16,600 development points. Do you want to claim it? The system sounds. The system is grand. Claim it. Su Ming responded without hesitation in his heart. Su Ming is familiar with the development points required to upgrade his profession. 16,600 cultivation points, which can exactly help a profession reach the level of De Cheng. According to the system statement, if Su Ming spends 16,600 cultivation points to improve 1 rogue profession alone, he can immediately obtain 2 rogue profession skills. You should know that the vast majority of Blue Star players can only awaken 1 deception skill in their lifetime, which means mastering 1 type of deception power. Having 2 cunning skills can be considered a national-level genius. Having 3 deception skills is a Blue Star genius. Having 4 deception skills, one can be called a peerless genius. For hundreds of years, it has been rare. Thinking of this, Su Ming looked again at the mysterious job display bar on the interface, which was a dense series of mysterious jobs. If all of this were activated, how much secret power would it take to master? How many secret skills would it take to acquire? Su Ming felt a surge of passion in his heart. At this point, General Manager Li came to an end. I have finished speaking about the 13 identities. If you behave well, you can get extra rewards. I'll give you 1 minute to choose your identity. By the way, who of you has the ability to treat diseases? You can tell me. Su Ming suppressed his excitement and pondered for a moment before making a decision. He now has a system, and the external gatekeeper and groom are no longer the optimal choices. One is working as a servant in the Yan Wang mansion, and the other is working as a doctor. It's not difficult to choose. The Eerie body is full of twists and turns, and healing and repairing it can be very troublesome. Therefore, high-level Eerie doctors are very popular in the world of horror and will be respected wherever they go. So, the cunning doctor is the key to his breakthrough. Speaking of which, a mediocre quack doctor has a decent status. But quacks will definitely be killed. System, activate the Eerie doctor profession and upgrade to the level of Xiaocheng, Su Ming thought to himself. The system immediately responded, 6,600 cultivation points have been deducted, and the host's medical profession has been upgraded to Xiaocheng. In the next moment, a large amount of medical knowledge and treatment experience flooded into Su Ming's mind and consciousness. In a few breaths, Su Ming seemed to have personally treated thousands of strange and small illnesses, familiar with his heart and proficient in various strange and practical medical techniques. A gentle breeze arose beside Su Ming, and then his entire aura changed. At the same time, Director Li's big and small eyes lit up with a faint light, looking at Su Ming and showing a slight interest in him. It's interesting that this human can unleash the aura that only clinic-level Eerie doctors can possess, Director Li said to himself. But to heal the two young ladies, this level is not enough. Director Li no longer paid attention to Su Ming and turned to other players. Speaking of Su Ming, the system interface in front of him clearly displays. Cultivation point. 10,000. Host currently holds the position of Deception Doctor, Xiaocheng, Doctor. Xiaocheng, spent 10,000 cultivation points, upgraded to Deshang, additional deception effect. You are a cunning doctor, and ordinary weirdness will not easily provoke you. They will respect you. Even if a strange dog on the road sees you, it must bark twice to show respect for you. The host is currently a Xiaocheng Doctor, gaining a 20% Doctor's Might bonus. Deception skill. Observing, listening, and asking, you can accurately diagnose the patient's condition, communicate and have a high probability of understanding the patient's psychological state through communication, and ultimately obtain excellent treatment methods. Su Ming didn't know what accidents would happen if he entered the inner courtyard of Prince Yan's mansion, so he didn't use up the cultivation points all at once. The remaining 10,000 cultivation points will be used as a backup and used according to the situation. Save no room for turning. Time's up, let's choose your identity. Manager Li's twisted face moved. While everyone was still hesitating, Su Ming was the first to speak. Director Li, I am a doctor and it is my responsibility to treat and save people. I would like to try to cure the two ladies in your mansion. Su Ming's expression was solemn, his voice was not loud, but he was full of confidence. Confidence comes from a 20% increase in the authority of the cunning doctor, which will naturally be released. Having confidence is a good thing, come here. General Li bent his body, showing a twisted smile, and then extended his shrunken little hand to wave at Su Ming. Chapter 3. 80 Good Feelings. De He protects Su Ming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding, your confident performance has been appreciated by Manager Li, with a positive rating of +5 and automatically converted to 5 development points. Seeing this message, Su Ming's slightly suspended heart finally let go. Manager Li's smile is really twisted. Those who are not familiar with him, who can know if he is smiling or not. Moreover, in order for him to reach directly, he must pass by the unusually irritable red-eyed black dog. With the experience of a cunning doctor, Su Ming keenly saw that the red-eyed black dog might be sick. Su Ming decisively used his skills of observing, hearing, questioning, and cutting, and indeed discovered that the red-eyed black dog was sick. Minor ailments, he can cure them. Amidst the lightning and fire, Su Ming collected his emotions and walked towards Director Li. What a scary smile, I'm going to be unlucky, but it's a pity for such a handsome guy. A female player saw Director Li's smile and felt a chill in her heart, feeling sorry for Su Ming. Shoot the bird with a gun, you deserve it. The newcomers to Licking Dog near Sister One instinctively thought that General Manager Li was going to teach Su Ming a lesson, and they felt proud in their hearts. That big black dog is still blocking the way. I'll see what he does. The shameless man had already stopped bleeding at this moment. He stared at Su Ming's back with his blood-red eyes fixed on him, resentful in his heart. If it weren't for him rejecting Sister Wen's invitation, I wouldn't have spoken. It's all his fault. Big black dog, bite him. A beautiful woman named Qin Yuan, who was called Sister Wen by the newcomers, looked at Su Ming and said to herself. Besides his stunning appearance, his physical condition fluctuates extremely weakly, clearly an ordinary person. Where did he have the confidence to be the first to stand out? She was curious about how Su Ming would deal with the red-eyed black dog. Roar! A 2-meter-old red-eyed black dog blocked in front of Su Ming, opening its bloody mouth and roaring fiercely twice. The players present took a few steps back together, looking at the red-eyed black dog with frightened eyes. Su Ming frowned slightly, looked at the red-eyed black dog, and said discontentedly. Are you imploring me to handle things? Change your tone. While speaking, Su Ming took the initiative to release a 20% increase in the aura of the mysterious doctor's authority. The previous second was still a ferocious red-eyed black dog, feeling the eerie doctor aura released by Su Ming. The next second it whimpered twice, lay on the ground, and wagged its tail. In this moment, it recalled the fear of being dominated by the thick needles in its arms when it was a child. Wang Wang, the red-eyed black dog obediently barked twice. This human possesses the aura of a clinic-level quack doctor, it's not worth it. I need to be good, I'll get an injection later, and I won't suffer like this. The thought of the red-eyed black dog was very simple. Su Ming nodded satisfied and said, Good dog, that's right. Su Ming's confident performance caught the eye of the manager and he asked with a smile. Can you cure Dahe? Manager Li knows that red-eyed black dog is sick. Su Ming nodded and said. Well, it's just a minor issue, no need for an injection. I'll give it a prescription, 3 meals a day, once a meal, and it'll be fine in 1 day. Speaking, Su Ming took out a piece of white paper from his body and quickly wrote several strange medicinal herbs, combining them into a prescription, and then handed it to General Manager Li. Don't ask Su Ming why he has a pen and paper. As a top student, he carries a pen and paper in his pocket, which is very reasonable. Manager Li took the prescription, glanced at it, and then put it away. As the chief butler of the Yen Prince's mansion, he is very discerning. According to the strange medicinal properties written in the prescription, General Manager Li can basically conclude that taking the medicine according to the prescription can cure Dahe's disease. This prescription is very bold. Eating these strange herbs alone will definitely cause trouble for Dahe. But Su Ming perfectly matched them and fully utilized the unique characteristics of the medicinal herbs. Without hundreds of years of experience in witchcraft medicine, it's impossible to prescribe this kind of medicine. This human has real abilities. Sir, is that dragon doctor? Director Li asked politely with a twisted smile once again. Su Ming shook his head slightly and said, No, I know both dragon medicine and Western medicine. Director Li's big and small eyes lit up with green light, and he straightened his hunched back, clearly valuing Su Ming more. Double cultivation of dragon and west, sir. Good skills, dare you ask your name? According to physical fluctuations, the human in front of us is only around 18 years old. Leaving aside his expertise in Western medicine, let's just talk about dragon medicine, which has a level of clinical expertise. If he really cultivates both dragon medicine and Western medicine to the level of a clinic, he can definitely be called a genius and mysterious doctor. If nothing unexpected happens, hundreds of years from now, he has a high chance of becoming the top-tier ghostly doctor in the world of horror, with a status even higher than that of his family owner, Prince Yen. Director Lee has a long-term vision and needs to show corresponding respect when facing potential medical geniuses. Manager Lee, you're welcome. I'm not a big name, I'm Su Ming. Su Ming smiled and arched his hand. Respect is mutual, and Su Ming is also very polite to Manager Lee. At the same time, new information appeared in Su Ming's mind. Ding, the mysterious medical talent you have shown has won the respect of General Manager Lee. Your respect value plus 100 and liking value plus 55 have been automatically converted to 155 cultivation points. Ding, you prescribed the dragon medicine prescription instead of giving injections to the red-eyed black dog. The red-eyed black dog is particularly happy, with an admiration score of plus 233, a liking score of plus 66, and a proficiency score of plus 200 for the Doctor of Mystery. It has automatically converted to 499 cultivation points. Su Ming looked at the red-eyed black dog with some surprise and roughly understood why it was so obedient. Noticing Su Ming's gaze, the red-eyed black dog's tail wagged even more joyfully, sticking out its bloody tongue and pleasantly rubbing against Su Ming's pants. Oh my goodness! What did I see? Black dog didn't harm me. The female player who had previously felt sorry for Su Ming widened her eyes and couldn't believe the scene before her. Really fake. What exactly did he write that easily gained the attention of the butler? Some players are concerned about the change in attitude of General Manager Lee towards Su Ming. If Su Ming can be called Sir by General Manager Lee, if he doesn't die, this dungeon will basically be cleared. Some players envied and wanted this kind of treatment. This person has never been panicked from the beginning to the present, and even refused Chen Yuan's invitation. From this perspective, he is definitely a hidden big shot. Is he a general player? There were also old players staring closely at Su Ming, already thinking of hugging their thighs. Is it the skill of the mysterious doctor that awakens? No wonder it's so arrogant. Chen Yuan also observed Su Ming in the dark. Very interesting little brother, she licked her lips. It seems that he discovered my little trick before. Find a chance and formally invite him. If he still doesn't understand, don't blame me for being ruthless. Speaking later, Chen Yuan's gentle expression was tinged with a hint of coldness. Mr. Su, wait a moment, Director Lee looked at Su Ming with a twisted smile. Then, he looked at the other players and said expressionlessly. What are you still waiting for? Choose your identity. Upon hearing such a cold tone, a group of players woke up from a dream, feeling anxious, and then quickly and respectfully selected their identities. Hello Director Lee, I would like to choose the status of a cook, the player stuttered. He was very afraid of General Lee, and even more afraid of the fierce red-eyed black dog standing at Su Ming's feet. Manager Lee nodded in response. Manager Lee, you are healthy. I want to choose the identity of a gatekeeper in the outer courtyard. Players have gradually chosen their identity. One identity can be chosen by multiple people. Of course, when a certain position is not short of manpower, Manager Lee will let players choose again. Su Ming was idle and rubbed the big head of the red-eyed black dog. Ding, you actively approached De He. De He thinks you are different from other cunning doctors. You are very approachable, with a liking score of plus 14, which has automatically converted to 14 cultivation points. Ding, the current favorability value of De He towards the host is 80, and De He will actively protect you. Big black strength. Level 4 Red Dog, Beginner. 1 high-level player per claw. Killing high-level players is as simple as breathing. Thrilling and eerie levels. First level white, second level black, third level green, fourth level red, fifth level general, sixth level king, seventh level saint, eighth level emperor. The levels of Blue Star players. First junior, second intermediate, third advanced, fourth top, fifth generals, sixth kings, seventh holy realm, and eighth emperors. Each level has 4 sub-stages. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, and top level. Yan Jisha, the head of the Yan Prince's mansion. It's the 6th level Gui Wang Gui Ji, with unparalleled strength. Chapter 4. Pig teammate appears. 3 cunning butlers show goodwill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing the system interface, Su Ming's eyes lit up slightly and he thought to himself. Touching the dog's head gives you a good impression value, and the development points of the thriller version are not difficult to brush. After arriving at this dungeon for a while, General Manager Li and Big Black Dog have already provided Su Ming with a 673 cultivation point. 100 cultivation points can activate a creepy profession. The cultivation points he has earned now can activate 4 eerie professions. It is worth noting that after learning about the strength of King Yan, Su Ming once again reminded himself to be careful and not arrogant or impatient. Overall, everything is developing in a positive direction, and Su Ming is in a good mood. He rubbed the big black dog head again. Wang Wang De He happily let out 2 low growls, wagging his tail happily. Ding, touch your head, it's very comfortable. The favorability value is +2, and it has automatically converted to 2 cultivation points. Seeing this message, Su Ming's heart was clear. The lower the favorability value, the more difficult it is to brush. Unless there is a major event, there will be no sudden increase in favorability. And when the opponent is basically in the same camp as Su Ming, the various values provided by the opponent will decrease. Simply put, during the land reclamation phase, a large amount of value can be obtained, while in the later stages, only the basic value can be obtained. Su Ming estimated that when De He's illness improved, he should still contribute a few hundred points of admiration. Good managerly, I will choose an inner courtyard maid, Chen Yuan said softly. Su Ming glanced at it and kept a secret. It's hard to predict, he refused Chen Yuan's invitation, so we still need to be cautious. Hello Director Li, I am a renowned doctor from Blue Star, and I also want to try to treat the 2 young ladies. At this moment, a man in a white coat stood up with confidence on his face. Of course, if he could wipe off the cold sweat on his forehead, he would appear more confident. Su Ming and Director Li looked at it at the same time. Director Li chuckled and waved at the man in the white coat, come over. Su Ming doesn't have any ideas, as long as the other party doesn't provoke him, he doesn't care. Roar. Seeing the white coat approaching, Black let out a loud roar. The man in the white coat suddenly lost his confident expression and jumped to Su Ming's side with a panicked expression, using him as a shield. Seeing this, Su Ming was extremely speechless, and roast in his heart. Brother, I dare say you're learning from me. Confidence is a good thing, but overconfidence is a bad thing. He can basically conclude that the man in a white coat did not master the skills of a mysterious doctor, but rather the medical system of Blue Star. Can treating people and treating deceit be the same? This man in a white coat has great potential as a pig teammate. Have you awakened the skill of a mysterious doctor? It's easy to cure, but difficult to cure. Out of consideration for his own safety, Su Ming chose to remind the man in a white coat. Seeing that De He had calmed down and had no intention of attacking, the man in the white coat immediately regained his confidence. He looked up, straightened his collar, and said calmly. Young man, you're still young and don't understand what different paths lead to the same goal means. I believe in my medical skills, so don't think about anything else. I won't fall for it. In the eyes of the man in the white coat, Su Ming was worried about his appearance, which resulted in Su Ming not having the opportunity to perform. Su Ming clearly wanted to persuade him to give up and take credit for it. Since Su Ming, such a little brat, can win the trust of General Manager Li by pretending, why can't he? Speaking of which, the man in the white coat was still very grateful to Su Ming for showing him a promising way to pass the customs. With his 40 years of experience as a renowned doctor, it's not too simple to imitate Su Ming's confidence. Compared to crazy, compared to seniority, he never lost. The man in the white coat clearly saw that Su Ming was choking on him and dared not speak to him. Actually, this is to imitate me to the end, Su Ming sneered inwardly. He has given up communicating with the man in a white coat. In order to avoid being tricked by his pig teammates and to ensure his safety, for a moment, Su Ming even wanted to let a dog bite someone. On second thought, let's forget it. De He is not his dog. If he commands De He recklessly, it can easily ruin the favor of Manager Li. And let De He bite people, which can be seen by all players present. With Su Ming's personality, he does bad things, and if he wants to do it, he must do it completely, and he must completely silence it. Otherwise, on the Blue Star Thriller forum, they can easily complicate things by opening their mouths one by one. Let's wait and see what happens. Su Ming made a decision as he looked at the proud expression on the corner of his white coat's mouth. Wait a moment, if the man in the white coat cheats him, he must first set aside his relationship. Secondly, if necessary, Su Ming will not show mercy and will definitely let the dog bite the man in the white coat and let De He bite him to death. Mr. Su, this way, please. Manager Li extended his shrunken thin hand in a gesture of invitation. Su Ming smiled slightly and politely said, Director Li, could you please lead the way? Manager Li smiled and walked into the gate with Su Ming shoulder to shoulder. De He followed Su Ming beside him. As for the man in the white coat, his face showed a hint of confidence and he wanted to walk side by side with Su Ming. But being stared at by De He, the man in the white coat's eyelids twitched wildly, and he quickly took a few steps back, only to follow behind Su Ming's buttocks. Afterwards, there are other players. Squeak. The white bone gate is closed. Players tremble in their hearts, with unknown terror waiting for them. The Yan Wang mansion is extremely vast. General Li led Su Ming, winding around and walking 4 or 5 bloody corridors. I made a stop midway. At the center of the outer courtyard, Manager Li asked the small butler of the mansion to take away the players who were staying in the outer courtyard. Manager Li is only responsible for receiving players, and the specific work is managed and supervised by the steward. The little butler is either a cunning wolf with protruding fangs, long-tongued woman with pale eyes, or a wandering long face without a nose or mouth, which scares these players quite a bit. It is worth mentioning that General Manager Li specially introduced Su Ming's identity to these small butlers. Upon learning that Su Ming was actually a double practitioner of both dragon and Western medicine, and a clinic-level, cunning doctor, these butlers were particularly polite to Su Ming. The vast majority of the horror world is eerie, with some degree of flaws. They heal themselves, which is time-consuming and laborious. Finding a cunning doctor to treat a disease requires expensive expenses, and encountering a quack doctor can easily lead to being tricked. Dr. Eerie is relatively rare, so most Eerie people hold an attitude of not seeing minor illnesses, waiting to die from major illnesses. Take the members of the Yan Wang mansion as an example, none of them possess the skills of a mysterious doctor. Please have a clinic-level doctor stay at the residence, as the price is expensive and not cost-effective. Yan Wang would not personally hire, clinic-level, cunning doctors to treat these little butlers for minor illnesses and pains. Mr. Su, take your time. Do you have time to come to my house to reminisce about the past? The long-tongued woman twisted her slender waist and said to Su Mingjiao in a coquettish voice. The eerie wolf, 2 meters tall, scratched its head and said in a jar voice. Mr. Su, I'm a rough guy. If someone bullies you in the outer courtyard, I'll help you solve them. That. I've been having some problems. If Mr. Su has time, can you help me? The long face floating on the wind was eerie, making a faint and eerie sound. I am willing to pay for the thriller coins, please treat Mr. Su's illness. May I ask if there is a discount? Su Ming used his watching, listening, asking, and cutting skill and glanced at them, instantly realizing their illness. They are all minor illnesses and pains, which are more serious than Dehay's illness, but he can cure them all. Wait a moment, I'll give you a prescription. The opportunity to cultivate points has arrived, of course Su Ming will not miss it. Chapter 5. Harvest of Deathly Loyal and Deceptive Little Brother. Players are dumbfounded. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Prince Yan's mansion, outer courtyard. Su Ming repeated his old trick and took out a small notebook from his pocket. He quickly wrote 3 prescriptions, then tore off 3 pages of paper and handed them to the 3 little butlers one by one. Su Ming's decisive behavior surprised the 3 butlers. They carefully took the paper, looked at the prescription, and then at Director Li, as if asking if the prescription was useful. Director Li nodded and saw the prescription written by Su Ming beside him, feeling even more amazed in his heart. Young genius. It turns out that strange herbs can still be paired like this. I've seen a long way. Seeing Director Li's level of deceit, they all nodded and believed that the prescription was effective. Of course, the high school math questions written on the prescription paper are absolutely useless to them. The 3 little butlers were full of excitement on their faces, each with an expression that they wished they could hold on to Su Ming and kiss him. Mr. Su, did you just give us the prescription like this? The long-tongued woman asked incredulously. Long-tongued women have the drawback of having a long tongue. In other aspects, she is very good. She has a proud figure, with a front and back curve, and she is also very beautiful, comparable to the appearance of a super female star like a blue star. Although the long-tongued witch initially wanted to prostitute Su Ming for free, however, based on her inherent view of clinic level, quack doctors, Su Ming would never let her go for free. She had to keep a low profile and work hard for a while before she could lower the price. As a result, Su Ming didn't even mention the money matter and decisively gave it to her. I didn't take advantage of it or put on airs. Su Ming smiled warmly and said, we all work for Prince Yan, and we can all be considered a family. Giving you a prescription is nothing. The young man in front of her, handsome and extraordinary, with an extraordinary temperament, one by one, we and one by one, family, yet unconditionally helping her treat her illness. The long-tongued woman's eerie and beautiful eyes were shrouded in mist, deeply moved. Dida, there is more lake water on the ground. She is a drowning witch, and she will drip lake water from her body. She drowned in the lake, which is normal. Don't ask why long tongues are not deadly. They are born with long tongues, can't they, Mr. Su? I can't speak, let me give you a kowtow. The 2-meter-tall eerie wolf, holding a small prescription, with an excited heart and trembling hands, was about to kneel down on the spot and kowtow to Su Ming. I can't do it. They're all brothers. Isn't your behavior embarrassing me? Su Ming spoke in a deep voice, with quick eyes and quick hands. He quickly took a step forward and grabbed the arm of the eerie wolf, trying to stop him from kneeling down. How big? Refers to the arms of the eerie wolf that are as thick as an adult's thighs. So heavy. Refers to the power brought by the eerie wolf when it kneels down. Su Ming's physique is still 5 scumbags, and he really can't stop the eerie wolf from kneeling down. However, the eerie wolf's kneeling motion still stopped in mid-air. The reason is Su Ming's last sentence. Mr. Su treats me as his brother, and I recognize him as his big brother. I can't embarrass my big brother, let alone tire him. I was wrong. The eerie wolf gently lifted Su Ming's small hand with its backhand, as if lifting a precious crown. Then he slowly stood up, afraid that his strength would be too strong and harm Su Ming. This scene made nearby players dumbfounded. Crouching slot. Brother Wolf, weren't you particularly cruel to us just now? Are you kneeling down now? Shug is amazing. I want to hug my thighs. These players have different thoughts, and their gaze at Su Ming has changed. That's the gaze at the big shot. Mr. Su, is this prescription really given to me for free? The long face's eerie voice sounded cold, but it was clearly more enthusiastic than just now. At the clinic level, the cost and starting price of treating diseases by a cunning doctor are relatively high, requiring at least half a year's salary for a long-face cunning doctor. This is also the reason why long-face Gui can't believe it. Su Ming did not directly answer the long-faced question, but smiled slightly and said, "Remember to take your medicine on time and maintain a good mood. Everything else is secondary." These words were also spoken to the other two cunning butlers. After speaking, seeing Su Ming's intention to leave, Manager Li extended his hand in a gesture of invitation and left with Su Ming. Upon hearing these words, his long face fell into a strange silence and he exclaimed in his heart, "Mr. Su is a good doctor with abundant medical ethics, but I only think about money. It's because my situation is too small. Brother Su, he's really handsome. I still remember to remind him to take his medicine on time." The long-tongued woman looked at Su Ming's departing figure, her beautiful eyes covered in pink peach blossoms, and her white and tender hands twisted incessantly, becoming Su Ming's little fan. "I really want Brother Su," the long-tongued woman said shyly as she couldn't walk any further. "Dida Dida, the lake water on the ground has increased. Big brother, take your time." The eerie wolf stood tall and watched Su Ming leave sincerely. Until Su Ming's figure disappears. A group of players cautiously approached these three cunning butlers, trying to flatter them while they were in a good mood. "What are you looking at? Get over here, stand up straight. I'll assign tasks." The eerie wolf turned to the players and roared. "If you haven't finished your current work, stop eating and eat yourself." Long-faced eerie voice said coldly. "He said to eat yourself, but that's really delicious. There are specialized servants who will help cut hands and feet, forcing players to eat. Work hard, sister, take less of your yang energy." The long-tongued girl's eerie voice was sweet, but it made players feel cold. "No, don't you want such a big difference? These days are unbearable." The players howled in their hearts. On the other side, General Li, accompanied by Su Ming, a man in a white coat, and a maid in the inner courtyard, was still winding through one circular arch after another. The Yan Wang mansion is really too big. At the same time, the system interface presented new information in Su Ming's mind and consciousness. "Ding, you decisively prescribed a cure for the long-tongued woman Gui without any conditions, and you also cared about her taking her medicine on time. You have gained the respect of the long-tongued girl, and coupled with your extremely beautiful appearance, she has developed an admiration for you. Respecting value plus 621, liking value plus 79, skilled doctor skill value plus 400, automatically converted to 1,100 cultivation points. The current favorability score of the long-tongued female monster towards the host is 79, and she really wants to spend a wonderful time with the host, long-tongued female mystery strength. Level 4 red mystery, top level. Can easily crush big black." Seeing this, Su Ming was dumbfounded in his heart. He doesn't want to be any undead knight for the time being. Don't ask why, because people will die. He only has a physical condition of 5, unable to withstand the turmoil. The system interface continues to display content. "Ding, you treat the eerie wolf as your brother and give him free treatment. The eerie wolf respects and admires you very much. Respect value plus 666, admiration value plus 666, liking value plus 80, and proficiency value of Doctor of Witchcraft plus 400. It has been automatically converted to 1812 cultivation points. The current favorability value of Jilang towards the host is 80. He believes that you are the big brother and he is your loyal little brother. You can command him to do many things or make him a thug. Strange wolf strength. Level 4 red wolf, top level. Can easily crush big black. Ding, you can give Long Face Gui a free prescription without mentioning any money. Long Face Gui thinks you have a big picture, and he respects and admires you very much. Respect value plus 499, admiration value plus 439, favorability value plus 61, proficiency value of Doctor of Witchcraft plus 400, automatically converted to 1399 cultivation points. The current favorability value of Long Face Gui towards the host is 61. He treats you as a friend and you can ask him to help with tasks, limited in quantity. Long Face Eerie strength. Level 4 red Eerie, top level. It can be easily. You know, more than 4,000 cultivation points have been received, and there is also an extra loyal younger brother. The harvest is good. Su Ming nodded in his heart, thinking that the harvest from this trip was gone. However, the system interface is still displaying new content. After reading it, Su Ming's eyes lit up and he felt a slight surprise. Chapter 6. Dangerous White Shadow. Miss Air is Xiaoluoli. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 7. Mad Second Mississippi. Su Ming's trick medicine is great. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Inner Courtyard. Uncle Lee, why did you find me 2 human doctors? They're not enough to play with. Well, they're not enough to treat me. The voice of the little loli in the red dress is crisp and pleasant, very pleasant to listen to. She is the second miss of the Yen Wang mansion, Yen Xiaolin, Eerie and orthodox. After speaking, Yen Xiaolin lifted her pink chin and casually scanned Su Ming and the man in a white coat. Her eyes were sparkling, that was the look at toys. How handsome. Especially seeing Su Ming's amazing appearance, Yen Xiaoling's expression became even more excited. Manager Li smiled helplessly and said, Miss Air, you need to treat your illness well. The head of the family has high expectations of you. Let this person treat your illness first. Director Li pointed to the man in a white coat. Upon hearing the word homeowner, Yen Xiaoling's excited expression immediately dissipated in half. In the next moment, her face slightly bulged and she moaned coquettishly, I know now. Before she could finish speaking, she looked at the man in the white coat and became active again. He come with me quickly. The man in the white coat is still in his fantasy time and has not discovered any key details. He even thinks that Miss Air is very cute and easy to get along with. The horror dungeon is just like that. The man in the white coat thought so, holding his head high and following Yen Xiaolin into the room. When Yen Xiaolin closed the door, he glanced at Su Ming with a smile and said in a slightly imperceptible tone, good things, let's keep them for the last time to play. Squeak. The door is completely closed. Taking a glance at Yen Xiaolin, Su Ming felt a little uneasy, with only one word in his mind. Extremely dangerous. Miss Air has an extremely active personality. For Mr. Su, it's quite dangerous. Director Li looked at Su Ming and, halfway through, intentionally paused. Whether or not one can comprehend it depends on Su Ming's abilities. Thank you, General Manager, for your clarification, Su Ming nodded and said. He finally understood the meaning behind Manager Li's words. From the situation just now, combined with the reminder from Manager Li, Miss Air's personality is not active, it is highly likely to be irritable and unpredictable. It's impossible for Manager Li to speak ill of Miss Air in front of outsiders. He could secretly poke and remind Su Ming like this. As if confirming Su Ming's conjecture, the room immediately heard a mournful scream. Ah! It hurts so much. The sound insulation effect of the room is actually quite good, but the screams of the man in a white coat are too loud, and Su Ming can vaguely hear him shouting. Ha ha ha. Accompanied by screams and the girl's crisp laughter, there was a sharp and sickly madness. Please stop fighting. The man in the white coat wailed. Miss, that's not what I want to hear. Yen Xiaolengjiu snapped, repeating the sentence repeatedly. The man in the white coat howled for a while, as if he had realized something. He quickly shouted hoarsely, please punish me severely, Miss Eyre. Ha ha ha. Great. That's it. Yen Xiaoling's laughter became even sharper. Then, the man in the white coat's screams became even louder. Su Ming. This is not treating diseases, this is killing pigs. At this moment, General Manager Li waved his hand and isolated the sound in the room. Su Ming couldn't hear any movement inside. As long as Su Ming has a deep understanding, there's no need to keep listening. Every once in a while, the government will invite renowned doctors to come and treat the eldest and second ladies, but they can only relieve symptoms and cannot cure them. Miss Eyre's illness is neither mild nor severe, and the key is whether she is suitable or not. There are some things that Manager Li cannot elaborate on, so it sounds a bit like a riddle. This is all he can remind. Su Ming's eyes were deep, and he didn't immediately respond. Instead, he was carefully pondering Director Li in his words, while repeatedly recalling all the details of Yen Xiaoling's appearance. Miss Eyre's reaction when she heard about the homeowner. Even famous doctors find it difficult to cure it. Is it mild or severe? Is it compatible? Each of these points is crucial. Thanks to Su Ming's spiritual value of 9, he has already come up with some countermeasures. Thank you very much for Director Li's guidance. Su Ming spoke sincerely. Manager Li showed a twisted smile and said, Mr. Su is polite. I only have one question now, and I hope Mr. Su will answer me seriously. Su Ming looked solemn and said, General, please speak up. Does Mr. Su have confidence in using dragon medicine to cure Miss Eyre? Manager Li asked. Su Ming was momentarily taken aback, then fell silent and laughed. He had previously demonstrated the skills of dragon medicine, and General Manager Li probably did not fully believe that he was a double cultivator of dragon and West. Therefore, General Manager Li valued his dragon medicine skills more and placed his hope of curing Yen Xiaoling on dragon medicine. Confidence. The key to cultivation lies in his hands, and Su Ming is not lacking in confidence the most. Su Ming knew very well that his answer at this moment was absolutely crucial. Amidst the lightning and flint, Su Ming muttered to himself, System, upgrade to the level of Dr. Strange. The system immediately responded, 10,000 cultivation points have been deducted and the host's medical profession has been upgraded to Deshang. In an instant, Su Ming seemed to have personally healed the eerie suffering of hundreds of thousands of patients. A large amount of knowledge about dragon medicine, Western medicine psychology, Western medicine surgery, and other experiences flooded into Su Ming's mind and consciousness, and he instantly became familiar with them. Su Ming's clothes, windless and automatic, hunting makes a sound. The whole person's temperament has undergone a revolutionary change. A pair of pitch-black eyes, emitting a sharp light. Just like, the patient has nowhere to hide in front of him, and he can see through the patient's bottom at a glance. On the side, Director Li felt Su Ming's changes, his pupils contracting slightly, and his twisted face was full of shock. This is the aura of a director-level quack doctor. It takes a genius 300 years to reach this level. He reached it at the age of 18. As if he didn't believe in evil, General Manager Li once again investigated Su Ming's physique from beginning to end. Human race, with weak physical fluctuations, 18 years of bone age. As sure as fate, what a peerless genius. Director Li exclaimed in his heart. Chapter 8. General Manager Li's 80 likes. Gift protective token. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 9. Mighty Su Ming. Scary disease, petite loli. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Inside the room. Su Ming had deep eyes and a calm expression, saying, "It's pointless to deceive you like this." At the same time, Su Ming exerted all his strength to release the aura of a mysterious doctor. The invisibility of the mysterious doctor's authority spread, instantly causing Yan Xiaoling's breath to stagnate. At this moment, in Yan Zhao's cold eyes, Su Ming underwent a huge change. "So handsome, I'm also very domineering, I like it." Yan Xiao looked at Su Ming coldly, careful not to be dirty and jump around, and said coquettishly in her heart. Su Ming was already extremely handsome, coupled with an inexplicable sense of authority. Yan Xiaoling suddenly felt like he was facing his master Yan Jisha, which made her both scared and eager to get close. In the next moment, Yan Xiaoling seemed to remember something. She waved her small whip and hit the ground with a loud bang. Then he revealed two small tiger teeth and looked fiercely at Su Ming, angrily saying, "A mere human. How dare you underestimate me? I'm not a little trick." Her purpose of calling Su Ming into the room was to torture and whip him, and then take a full meal of blood. She must not be fooled by Su Ming's appearance. Humph. System interface, displaying reminders. Ding, your appearance is 99. When you meet for the first time, you can directly gain 10 points of liking points for the female monster. Yan Xiaoling's liking point is +10. Ding, your domineering attitude has made Yan Xiaoling feel the dignity of the family owner, with an awe value of +111. Automatically converted to 121 cultivation points. Reminder. Currently, there is no confirmed patient relationship, and the doctor's advice skills are invalid. Su Ming is good at observing details and noticed the changes in Yan Xiaoling. Combined with system reminders, he immediately knew how to communicate with Yan Xiaoling. Now let's not talk about race, only about identity. I am a cunning doctor, and you are a cunning patient. In my eyes, you are a little cunning who is incurable or disobedient. Su Ming said lightly, his eyes sharp, as if he could see through Yan Xiaoling. At the same time, he has used psychological language to guide Yan Xiaoling step by step into the trap. Seeing this look, Yan Xiaoling's anger that had just accumulated dissipated greatly, and his heart was once again shocked. What a fierce look, like a father. Yan Xiaoling was startled and felt a hint of fear. You're talking nonsense. Why isn't I obedient? I'm asking you to come in and treat my illness, isn't it? Yan Xiaolingjiao snorted and opened her small face, afraid to look at Su Ming. Feeling a little aggrieved in his heart, he said, "That man just now had to kneel down and talk to me, and he still had to say good things. Why is this person so fierce? He's not playing cards according to the usual routine. Disgusting, his physical condition fluctuates extremely weakly, which cannot be compared to his father. No way. Miss, I want to find a place to show him Mrs. Strength." Yan Xiaoling also realized at this moment. The more she thought about it, the more angry she became, and she was bound to punish Su Ming. Su Ming noticed this and silently clenched the protective token in his palm. "Hey, bite him." Yan Xiaoling extended his small foot in long stockings and lightly kicked Hey. Hey didn't move. He looked at Yan Xiaoling and then at Su Ming, and could only make a soft wang sound. One is the owner, and the other is a good doctor who treats it. It dare not offend me. If you offend the doctor, you must get an injection. Upon seeing this, Su Ming smiled slightly and said, "Hey is very well behaved. Later, I will prescribe another prescription to strengthen his physique." Hei's eyes shone brightly. After speaking, he looked at Yan Xiaoling again and said calmly, "Do you see that even a dog knows how to respect doctors better than you do? Do you still say you are obedient?" Yan Xiaoling is still in a daze, for no other reason. Su Ming just smiled. So he looks so good when he smiles. Since she became sensible, her father has never smiled at her, only with a serious and endless scolding on her face. Su Ming, who was as majestic as the head of the family, showed a warm smile. Yan Xiaoling had never seen such a scene before. At that moment, Yan Xiaoling's heart skipped a beat. No way. Miss, I can't be fooled by him. He must have done it on purpose. Useless dog. Yan Xiaoling regained consciousness and kicked De He. De He let out a whimper and slipped into the corner. Immortals fight, and De He suffers. It's better for him to stay away from the battlefield. Of course, Miss, I have more respect than De He, but why should Miss I respect you? Yan Xiaoling raised her proud chin and said clearly, what if you are a quack? Miss, I will never listen to quacks. In Su Ming's eyes, Yan Xiaoling's expression at this moment. Oh, a carrot system, system interface, displaying reminders. Ding, your unintentional smile warmed Yan Xiaoling's stressed heart, with a positive rating of +20. Ding, you have used the psychology script very well. Yan Xiaoling has entered the process of treating the disease, and the proficiency level of the mysterious doctor is +300. Automatically converted to 320 cultivation points. Reminder. Currently, there is no confirmed patient relationship, and the doctor's advice skills are invalid. Pressure. We need to help her release the pressure before she can cooperate, Su Ming thought to himself. At this moment, Su Ming changed his indifferent attitude and his voice gradually softened. It's normal for you to misunderstand me if you don't understand me. But if you think I'm a quack doctor, then it's one-sided. Let me give you a detailed explanation of your condition. Su Ming's tone was gentle, and he came slowly. Yan Xiaoling unconsciously listened and occasionally nodded in response to Su Ming's questions. She had long forgotten her original purpose. Uncle Li told you. Even if you tell me Mrs. Condition, it doesn't prove that you are a skilled doctor. Yan Xiaoling rolled up his small whip, snorted coquettishly, and then provocatively said with a smile. Miss, I think you are an ordinary quack doctor. Proud little loli not only spoke hard, but also tried to provoke Su Ming. If Su Ming is successfully angered, Yan Xiaoling will feel a sense of achievement. In fact, Su Ming can tell her condition in detail by observing, and compared to the mysterious doctors who once treated her, Yan Xiaoling has already recognized Su Ming's medical skills. Faced with provocation, Su Ming was not angry either, but showed a warm smile and said gently. Okay, I'll say something that General Manager Li doesn't know. Seeing Su Ming smiling at her for the first time, Yan Xiaoling looked up and blinked her watery big eyes, stunned. The room suddenly quieted down. After a while, Yan Xiaoling regained consciousness and pretended to be angry, saying, Why don't you say it? I'll listen again. As she spoke, her delicate little face cast a lovely blush. Su Ming chuckled and said, Actually, you really want to cure this disease. You have tried to eliminate the cold in your body and adjust the trajectory of your strength, but you have failed. Ah! How do you know? Yan Xiaoling exclaimed in surprise, took a step back, and pointed his white hand at Su Ming, looking surprised. The beautiful little face blushed and looked even cuter. Chapter 10. Confirming the doctor-patient relationship. Be honest with each other. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Yan Xiaoling showed rebellion in her family, but in private, she has been trying to completely eliminate the coldness, and then worked hard to cultivate, hoping to receive praise from her father. She didn't expect that Su Ming seemed to have a mind-reading ability, but he could break through with just one word. You are my patient, as a doctor, of course I need to know your efforts in fighting against illness. This is my responsibility. Su Ming's gentle voice gently brushed over Yan Xiaoling's face. Upon hearing these words, Yan Xiao stared coldly at Su Ming, feeling very warm in her heart. He's very different from other doctors, except for her sister. All family members think she is troublesome, doesn't want to treat her illness, and thinks she's not working hard. That famous doctor also felt that she was being treated negatively. In fact, she has always been very hard-working. However, the cold energy inside her body was like a gangrene attached to her bones, constantly tormenting her. The relief treatment method of famous doctors, which treats the symptoms but not the root cause, makes her unable to see hope. As a result, Yan Xiaoling's temper became increasingly irritable and rebellious. Su Ming's medical skills were superb, and one could see her efforts. Yan Xiaoling suddenly felt like finding a confidant. Being captivated by him is not impossible. What am I thinking? Just a human. I won't be fooled by him. Yan Xiaoling was mentally active and fell into some kind of struggle. At the same time, the system interface displays reminders. Ding, you can see the effort behind Yan Xiaoling. She admires your medical skills and even treats you as a potential confidant. Your admiration value plus 333 and liking value plus 20 have automatically converted to 353 cultivation points. Reminder. The current host has the opportunity to formally confirm the patient relationship with Yan Xiaoyang. You can admire my medical skills after I cure you, Su Ming joked. Being seen through again, Yan Xiaoling blushed and said shyly. Damn it. How did he know that I admire his medical skills? Reading the mind's medical skills. Using this kind of medical skills against me is too much. Yan Xiaoling tilted her head, tilted her face, and let out a coquettish snort, saying. Miss, I don't want you to treat me a mere human, I have no right to touch Miss Humph. Also, you're not allowed to use that kind of mind-reading technique. Otherwise, I'll just ignore you. She mistakenly believed that Su Ming had the ability to read minds like a cunning doctor. Seeing Yan Xiaoling's arrogance still present, Su Ming couldn't help but laugh. You can be arrogant, the system can't fake it. The system said there was a chance to confirm the relationship, so Su Ming just boldly charged. Miss Air, you don't want to disappoint the homeowner either, do you? Su Ming said with a faint smile. Upon hearing these words, Yan Xiaoling suddenly turned her head and stared closely at Su Ming, angrily saying, How dare you threaten me? In such a moment, Yan Xiaoling felt disappointed with Su Ming. However, in the next moment, when Yan Xiaoling heard Su Ming's words, her eyes sparkled with tears. I can help you. This is a short sentence, but very sincere. Su Ming spoke gently while extending his right hand. Believe me. By the way, I don't have the art of mental medicine. Speaking, Su Ming gave a cold wink to his face. Faced with this scene, Yan Xiaoling's two small hands anxiously grasped the lace edge of her skirt. After hesitating for a while, she finally reached out her tender white hand and placed it in Su Ming's palm. Su Ming gently grasped Yan Xiaoling's small hand and used his look, smell, question, and cut skill to further identify the disease and obtain a cure. My little hands are icy cold, but very soft, like an elusive ball of flowing water. Miss, I reluctantly asked you to treat the illness. Don't laugh, Yan Xiaoling said coquettishly as she watched Su Ming's smile linger. She didn't want to show her fragile side. Your eyes. Su Ming gestured with the other hand, indicating tears at the corners of her eyes. Yan Xiaoling's face turned hot and he snorted, Miss, I have sand in my eyes. I need you to take care of me. As she spoke, she wiped away her tears with her little hands. In order to retrieve the venue, Yan Xiaoling questioned. Are you professional? When I was treating Miss, I was distracted and talked for so long. Are you trying to take advantage of Mississippi? Su Ming's palm was very warm, warming up his heart. However, Yan Xiaoling refused to accept defeat, spoke with a red face, and also wanted to slander Su Ming. I can do two things at once, absolutely professional, Su Ming said as he stroked the back of Yan Xiaoling's hand with his thumb. Alright, you can take your hand away now. Feeling the warmth on her thumb, Yan Xiaoling's delicate body trembled lightly and whimpered, unconsciously closing her eyes and enjoying herself. As she reacted, Su Ming looked at her with a smile on his face and repeated. Alright, you can take it off now. Yan Xiaoling's ears were so red that she quickly withdrew her little hand. However, this time she did not say anything to slander Su Ming, but instead looked elsewhere and dared not look directly at Su Ming. At the same time, the system interface displays reminders. Ding, the doctor-patient relationship has been officially confirmed, and the use of medical advice skills is reasonable and effective. Ding, you have successfully established a doctor-patient relationship with Yan Xiaoling, with a proficiency level of plus 500 for the Doctor of Deception. Ding, you have taken Yan Xiaoling's first strike, specifically holding hands with opposite-sex friends, with a positive rating of plus 10. Yan Xiaoling's current favorability value for the host is 60. She treats you as a close friend and has some small admiration for you. She won't hurt you anymore. Finally, I can rest assured to treat her illness. Su Ming breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. He was still quite worried about Yan Xiaoling suddenly falling ill and emitting that pathological laughter before. Fortunately, Yan Xiaoling still has treatment, and with normal communication, there is hope for change. In order to better find a cure, I need to further examine you. Su Ming quietly used his ability to instruct the doctor to avoid unnecessary complications. Yan Xiaoling blushed and let out an "oh," then lowered her head, placed her two small hands on the waist of the snake, and began to untie her dress. "What are you doing?" Su Ming was a bit confused. He was a serious doctor and wouldn't mess around. As Su Ming spoke, Yan Xiaoling had already untied the lace-up on her dress. The fiery red dress and top half slipped off and got stuck in the middle. The reason for getting stuck. Although Yan Xiaoling has a petite figure, there is something to be expected of her, and she is not ambiguous. Her proud capital has taken over her top. Proud capital equals Xiong. At this moment, Su Ming could already see Yan Xiaoling's fair and fragrant shoulders. The skin on the shoulders is smooth and delicate, exceptionally white and pure, like a peerless white jade without any flaws. Yan Xiaoling secretly glanced at Su Ming, then blushed and turned his back, ready to unbutton the button on the back of his dress. If you unbutton this, it would be called frank meeting.